know. Now you will know. We starting with the song. Yeah, I
A
hope
journey through the
y'all
mind, spirit, body set free,
y'all
emotional balance.
don't
In the
think my
mirror,
song is too
I see
corny.
reflections of me. A journey through the mind, spirit, body set
Happy
free,
Saturday,
emotional
y'all.
balance. Oh, how we strive to keep the heart open, to let our souls
We gonna
thrive.
make some
Physical wellness, moving with
we're gonna do
grace.
some
Each step we
revamping
take in a
of
sacred
Divine Living coming
space.
real soon. Oh, I'm so excited!
Without words, the
I'm
speech can't be
super
heard.
excited that y'all
Without
are
our
here
voice, there's
with
no
me
flight for
today
the
too.
bird.
Like this
Without sound, it's
is
just
like
left to be
a
seen.
cool
Without them all,
situation.
what does it mean?
Use
Use
your
your voice, be
voice.
the light of change. In this life, it's fun as
Y'all
rearrange.
hear him.
Eight
Y'all hear him.
dimensions,
Y'all
they
hear
make us
these
whole.
words.
Divine living is food for the soul.
Divine living
We
is
rise,
food
we
for the
grow, we claim
soul.
what's ours. Personal growth and wellness showers.
We got
Occupational dreams, purpose and strive. Finding balance
we
in the
got a
work
couple
we
of guests up
provide.
in here
Financial peace
that
where
are
abundance flows.
very
Manage it
important to
wisely,
me.
watch as it grows.
Happy
Social
Saturday.
connection, love's
But
embrace. We nurture
I'm gonna
bonds with
bring
vibe and
in my
space.
co-host, um, my friend.
Without words, the speech can't be heard.
I'm gonna
Without
bring her
our
in
voice,
right
there's no
now.
flight for the bird. Without sound, it's
And we're
just
gonna get
left to
this
be
thing
seen.
started
Without them
real,
all,
real soon.
what
We're
does
gonna
it
rock
mean?
out to the
Use
end
your
of this
voice, be the
song
light of
too. But I
change.
wanna bring her
In
on
this
up.
life, it's fun as
Y'all know
rearrange.
who she
Eight
is. Stop acting
dimensions, they
like you
make us
don't
whole.
know.
Divine
Don't
living is
act,
food
stop
for the
acting.
soul.
Oh, she
We
ain't at her
rise, we
desk.
grow, we claim what's ours. Personal growth and wellness showers.
I stepped away for 2 seconds. Hello, everybody.
Without words, the beats,
So she
without a
ain't even
theme,
at her
but without her
desk.
voice, there's no
Welcome
fight for
to
the bird.
Divine Living on
Without
this
sound, it's
happy
left to be
Saturday.
seen.
I'm
Without them
so
all,
happy to be here
what
with
does it
my
mean? Use
homegirl,
your
Yes.
voice, be the
Miss
light of
Divine.
change. In
Woo!
this
Yes.
life, it's fun as
So
rearrange. Eight dimensions, they make
She
us
said she
whole.
stepped away for
Divine
just a moment.
living
We
is
are
food for the
in this
soul. We
place.
rise, we
We are
grow, we
in
claim
this
what's
place.
ours.
We hanging
Personal
out,
growth and
but we're gonna have some
wellness
really good
showers.
conversations today too, because we are celebrating
Occupational
an
dreams.
important day. That important day is
Occupational dreams.
International Men's Day. Now, I don't even know the background of
Occupational
International Men's
dreams.
Day, but I'm going to make it
Pro
into
Pro.
what I want it to be. The
Occupational
actual
dreams.
International Men's Day isn't until the 19th. That's on a Tuesday.
Occupational
Oh,
dreams, purpose and strive,
Tuesday.
finding balance in the work we
Tuesday.
provide.
Look, y'all, I should do
Tuesday.
Financials, they make us
announcements. I
whole.
should do
Divine
announcements, but
living is
Divine
food for
don't
the
ever
soul.
be prepared
We
for the
rise, we
announcements
grow,
because
we claim what's ours.
y'all,
Personal
that's
growth
just
and
how it is. That's
wellness
just how it
showers.
is.
There's so
But
much happening on here.
it
So much
is.
happening.
It is.
Spirit balance, so wellness,
Gosh,
intellectual growth,
I'll
love
give
for
them a
it
hint.
is.
man.
I'll give
Journey
them a
through
hint.
life, journey
Wherever
with
you
us in
see
hand.
that honor, you see that honor in her name, you need to be at that show. Wherever
That's
you
right.
see that scout in the name, you need to
That's
be at
right.
that show.
That's
That's
right.
the announcement. That's
That's
the
right.
thing.
That's right. Because that's all I'm going to talk about. But this is where you are meant to be. Y'all hear it? Y'all hear it? That was the last statement of the song. This is where you are meant to be. Thank you. Thank you for tuning into Divine Living. We are a personal growth and wellness show where we talk about being well. I have two phenomenal men on the show today. On the show today. I say they're phenomenal because they are a part of my garden keepers. Huh? Y'all don't even know what garden keepers are, do y'all? Do y'all?
Oh,
Let me tell you about my garden keepers. Look, y'all know I am the sunflower lady, the sunflower girl. I am that person. And I know that it's extremely important for you to have supportive people around you. Um, and look, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for real that the people that have decided to be my supporters, I didn't have to hire them for money. I didn't have to hire them for money. They are just here to support me. Hold on just a sec.
she did not. We are here because we love Miss Divine, okay? We love Miss Divine and we reciprocate that energy that she pours into us, the positivity that she pours into us. We reciprocate that, right? Because that's what friends are supposed to do. And that's what humans are supposed to do with one another. You know, I came across Miss Divine. I don't even recall who told me. Like, it's been so long now, I don't even recall. But the first moment, the moment that I stepped in here, I have not left. Okay, so welcome, 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 y'all. Welcome to Divine Living. We are celebrating International Men's Day. International Men's Day. And for those of you who kind of don't know what International Men's Day is, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little history lesson in the background. This was actually first started in the 1990s. I'm going to have to look at my notes in a second when I get them. But this was started in the 1990s, and it was started, I believe, in Trinidad and Tobago by a professor at the University of the West Indies. And it really was just like a chance for men to basically celebrate the lives of men, and how to show, the current boys who were growing up at that time, how to be men, how to be positive men, how to be mentoring men, how to take care of their mental health. It's since morphed into, an international celebration that has, name recognition, all of those things. I believe the United Nations, it's on their webpage as well, and they highlight and celebrate that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for just that introduction of what this day is all about, why we're celebrating this day, and why I have these two men that are part of this recognition, this celebration, the highlight of Men's Wellness Month. Because being a part of my garden keepers are is important. I lean on these people, not some of them too much sometimes. Um, I might get on Nikki's nerves a little. I'm okay. Good, good, good. Uh, I might get on this first person's nerves. He's been around since I don't know when. I don't even know how we got introduced to each other. But we gonna bring him all up. We're gonna bring him up in here. Y'all know him. Y'all know who this is. It's Aquarius Soul. Hey Aquarian. Hey Aquarian. Like I don't we probably just ran into each other on the streets just like I ran into Nikki on the streets, and I just want to say thank you for being a part of Divine Living for Forever. Um uh just letting me lean my head on your shoulder, be like, oh man, I'm stressing today. Go ahead and tell everybody who you are, what you got going on.
I'm Aquarian Soul. I'm a glitch in the matrix. I don't be doing too much. I just be chilling. I'm an admin for a plethora of different shows here on the app. Top bad shows, non-top bad shows, feature shows, and non-feature shows. So if you're interested in getting on the show, I can get you on, or I know somebody that can. I started my own show, Food for Your Soul with Aquarian Soul. It's every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's the only show here on Tag that focuses on exploring nostalgia through conversations about comfort food. Definitely come and check us out. And I'm forever in the gardens. That's why I am one of the keepers. I was a keeper before the keepers was even a name. Like,
Okay, say that right there. Say that right there. Before the keepers were a name.
That
Okay.
is so true. That is so true. Thank you. Thank you. Before the keepers were ever a name, Aquarian Soul was right there. Helping me find guests, helping me just brainstorm on what the next subject matter is going to be. Aquarian Soul has always been there. I'm like, oh my goodness. He's like, Divine, are you ready? No. I was never ready. I was never ready. I'm ready now. I'm ready now.
let's
Look,
go. I'm
I
ready.
got another guest that's supposed to be here. He might be like tippy toeing around, but you go ahead and request the box too. I know you up in here. Go ahead and request the box. Look, I'm super excited about this person. Um, uh, I was looking for people to be on the show, and his response was like he always wants. I always want to cry when I talk about this person. His response was, "Whatever you need me to do, I'll be there." I'm like, "What?" Look, I never asked for his support. I never looked for his support. He just was like, "I'm going to be here and I'm going to do this." So it's so that even like this kind of like season of me doing the show, he started spamming the comments of like, what the topic was and what was happening before we even ever really were doing that type of stuff. And people were like, well, yeah, you should get him to do this, this, this. And I was like, I never asked him to do that. He just does it on his own free will. Thank you. Thank you, Visionary, for being such the awesome soul that you are. I don't know why I always want to cry when I see you, but I do. Thank you for being the awesome soul that you are. Thank you for being supportive of Divine Living. Thank you. Look, y'all, this is the very first show that Visionary has ever been on.
Mm,
It
we
is.
like
It
Let's
that.
is.
go.
Thank
Yes.
It
you.
is.
Thank you. Let
Thank
everybody know who you
you.
are. Let everybody know who you are and what you got going on.
I am just visionary. I don't really have a show yet. I do have some ideas though. I'm a sports guy, so you can put two and two together and imagine what that would be about. I started supporting Miss Divine when I found out she was Coco's mom. So we can all thank Coco for my
Yes.
presence.
Yes.
I love her to death. If you are connected to Coco, you have my support and love.
Mm,
Period.
that's
The
beautiful.
end. Like I
Thank
love her to
you.
death so
Thank
much.
you. Because we love you too. I'm going to look. I have 1,000 things happening today, hence why I keep ducking off. It is Founders Week, y'all. Well, Founders Day was the 12th, so we're celebrating all week. I am in charge of our Friendsgiving. So I got people dropping things off. I got people calling. So I just wanted to make that known because I'm super busy right now. And I want to say thank you, Nikki, for also being part of my Garden Keepers and just being a supportive of Divine Living, helping me with this show and while I have a million things happening at once, so we can make sure that we are here. We are here. I hate missing. I hate missing the show. I know sometimes we have to take time for ourselves, but I absolutely hate not being here with you all. So thank
Oh.
you. Why I even was on, did the show last week. I was like, I don't even have content. Let's just do this. Let's just show up and see who wants to be here. So thank you all for showing up for Divine Living every Saturday morning because I know Saturdays are hard to get into. So let's start this conversation. It is Men's Wellness Month. We're celebrating International Men's Day. I'm going to start off with a quote.
Mm,
The strength of a man isn't measured by how much he can carry, but by how much he can lift others.
mm,
Um, I find that to be true, definitely for these two men right here. It's not all about I'm a man. Watch me roar. Is that is not? It wasn't a man that said that, but I'm just paraphrasing. But I want to say that thank you for that. Uh, and while we're talking about just being supportive to women, um, I didn't ask you to be supportive to me. I didn't ask you to love my daughter, but being part of the Garden Keepers to me is extremely important. Um,
mm.
you talked a little bit about your why, but can you expound just a little bit on that in the Garden Keepers? Not that we do a lot, but why you decided to even be a part.
Who did you want to go first?
Visionary, right?
Okay.
Because you started talking about that thing. Well,
Okay.
both of y'all did actually.
Well,
Never
yeah.
mind, both of y'all did.
Um. I just believe in supporting, genuinely supporting those you care about, and um, protecting those you care
Mm,
about. And on tag, I found that there is a lot of shenanigans that goes on. It's a lot of energy that can interrupt the stream, whether it be uh, private parts craziness in the box, whether it be disrespectful, racist comments, or trolls that go overboard. I feel like there needs to be some sort of protection because there's a lot of just letting things happen, especially to
mhm,
women, just overlooking things. And us as men, some of us just stand by and watch,
Mm.
even though this is a public platform. I feel like there should still be a sense of comfort and protection from the men that supports you,
Mm.
from the men that say they care about you. So I'm gonna always, uh, as Coco calls it, be that Uncle Pawpaw to the women I care about and support and love. So I'm the oldest of 12 brothers and sisters, and I have six sisters. So
Oh wow.
Wow.
yeah, and all of our fathers were weirdos to say the least. But
Mm.
so she did her thing. She stood 10 toes. So I'm a big, big, big supporter of women.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Aquarian?
So I mean, me becoming a member of the Garden Keepers, and me looking out for Miss Divine, that's just what comes natural to me. Like, I don't do anything on this app that I don't do in my real life. Like, right? Like, I'm the same person when I cut this thing off. Like, right? I may be a little more detached if you meet me in person because, like, I'll be around you for a bit and it'll be like I'll be ready to move. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personality, right? But as far as like networking, marketing, things of that nature, anybody that's come across me, like if I'm around you for a certain amount of time, I'm going to start promoting things that you do because I believe in what you are, I believe in your vision. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, and I can't remember exactly how I met Miss Divine either, but I'm pretty sure that I probably came across your show and I loved it. The same way I came across El the Drug Show and I loved it. So I became a member of, the process, like, right? So it's just like your show has been all inspiring for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. So it's just, I'm always going to definitely be a part of what it is that you're doing. And I love the days that Miss Divine will come into my stream randomly and be like, Aquarian, I need you. And I'd be like, what's going on, Mr. Ryan? What you need? Like, I'm like, I'm gonna get in the box. So get in the box and she'll start talking. She'll be like, oh, am I bothering you? And I'll be like, Mr. Divine, no. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are not bothering me. It is okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had the absolute pleasure of getting to know Miss Divine on that sort of level. Like, seeing her at her most vulnerable points, like, and being able to help lift her up to where she should be because all of you are amazing. You know what I'm saying? Right in your own way. Like, we can run down a list of everybody that's in the stream right now, and I can go down how each one of you are amazing in your own particular way. Like, right? But when it comes to this show has been a lot of eye opening for me, listening to some of these conversations, being a part of some of these conversations that have been on this show. So I'm always going to be here. Anytime Ms. Divine needs to creep in at one of my late streams, like 1 in the morning, Aquarius, like I need help. Like, even though she always thinks
Don't
she's
be telling
bothering me,
people
and I
where I
always tell her it's
be.
not a burden.
He be the hideout. Now you want to tell everybody.
Right. Shoot. That was my hideout spot. Real talk though, that's for real. I appreciate you for just being that support system even when you may not know it. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do for Divine Living and all that you continue to do for Divine Living. I told Aquarian this is this is my running statement to Aquarian, and we're gonna get into some real conversations too. But I told Aquarian whenever I get married, he's gonna be the best something. I don't know what
She gonna
he's
make
gonna
up a
be.
name.
Yeah, he's
You
gonna be
got an
the best
honorary
something.
title.
We still trying to figure out what he gonna be the best at the wedding, but he gonna be there. He gonna be there doing something.
I'm
So
gonna name myself the best Aquarian in your life.
come on now.
Oh,
I don't know.
hey.
Coco Fairy
I
might
know,
get
I know it's a shot. It's a shot.
Ah. Shots fired.
but so of course Divine Living is a personal growth and wellness show, and I can say that through the support of other people, my wellness has increased. So I know that this thing works. When we look at our lives and our personal life, in dimensional wellness, in it is so much easier to understand, so much easier to tackle the problems that we may endure day to day. Um, that dimensional living, or the eight dimensions of wellness, helps us with that personal growth. So when it comes to defining wellness in your life, how do you do that, guys? I don't ever say go first. To me,
Re-
I feel like,
re-
it just comes
repeat the
natural
question.
conversations. We're talking about defining wellness in your life. How do you do that?
Mm.
How do I define wellness in my life?
Hmm.
Um, Honestly, I am really just now learning how to start focusing on my wellness, especially my mental wellness. I carry a lot. I do for a lot of people, and most of the time, I'm not thinking about myself.
Hmm.
I let a lot of things lack. I let a lot of things lack, and my mother and my son's mother, they all we get into it a lot behind it, but I mean, things got to be done. Things got to be taken care of, especially living out here in LA. And I want everybody to be comfortable. And I remember how I grew up. So,
Hmm.
I feel like if I can help it, um, I'm going to make sure they don't have to deal with a lot of the experiences as much as I can that I had to grow up dealing with. But I had to start realizing that if I don't take time for myself, I won't be any good to others.
Yes, sir.
So I ended up uh, in
Don't
the
move too
hospital
fast.
at
Don't
one
move
point
too
in time.
fast.
About a year and a half, I ended up in the
Hmm.
hospital uh, out of nowhere.
Wow.
I didn't know what was going on. My heart started beating real, real fast, and I didn't know what I was experiencing. So I had to go to the hospital, and I didn't tell nobody,
Mm.
of
Well,
course. So
I'm going to get into some of the challenges that we face. So I like that you're going into that direction. Last year, I had my cousin here on the show who
Mm.
had healthy man, works out, eats well, had a heart attack.
Mm.
Um, while we were talking about the wellness of men. So Aquarian. Oh, you need me to mute you? Or are you good? Okay. Aquarian. How do you define wellness in your life?
Mute him. He said mute him.
Oh, I thought he said no.
Um, Wellness in my life. I think that the way that I would define it or determine it now is based on honestly the way that I feel about myself every day. Right.
Mm.
Um, I am a giver naturally. Right. Like I am a giver and I provide the way that I'm supposed to. A lot of times I don't feel that I get that same energy back. And so here recently, I've started pulling back some of the energy that I give because I give unconditionally. And I have to stop doing that, right?
Hmm.
Because I have to stop doing that because it affects my own personal mental health. Like when I see how much energy I give and how little energy I get back. And
Mm.
that's just in life, on tagged, just in general, period. Like, right? Um, it's my natural state because I've been through so much and I've
Hmm.
dealt with so much trauma in my own world. Like, and one of the ways that I cope with a lot of that, or rather find solace, I always say, is in helping other people. Right. Like, but it doesn't do you any good as a person, as a human being, regardless, man or woman. It doesn't do you any good as a human being to not pay attention to how much you give of yourself and then you drain your battery. That's
Hmm.
why, like here recently, I've been kind of like thinking about taking a break from the app and stuff like that because I feel like my energy gets depleted so much and I'm not always poured back into the same way that I pour.
Mhm.
So it creates a space where it's like it's not a resentment kind of thing or a regret kind of thing, but it's just like a I really need to slow down a little bit. Like right, like because if I deplete myself too quickly, what am I really doing? How can I help? How can I continue helping at the same level that I have been helping when I'm sitting here like, dang, you know.
Mhm.
So I
Mm.
have to take notice of that. So wellness for me is based on how I feel about myself because I start feeling differently about myself, and then you should never be in that position,
Mm.
where you're so depleted of all your energy, of all your time, of all your love, and you don't really get that back. So therefore, you start thinking like, dang, am I being stupid? Dang, am I messing up? Like, right, you start to doubt yourself, and doubt, I'd say to people all the time, is one of the strongest drugs in the world, even though it's not classified as one.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
doubts can start here and it can snowball really, really quickly. And next thing you know, you're holding ideas, you're doing things that are go against how you feel because now you doubting everything and you shouldn't even do
Mhm.
that. Like, right. So yeah, I judge it based off of how I feel day to day. I try to make sure I wake up with a positive attitude. Like I always give people affirmations, but now I give myself affirmations.
Yes.
I actually was not doing that before ever. Like
Mm.
right, like I've always been a person to tell other people to give themselves affirmations. I would give them affirmations, or I would send them affirmations, but I wasn't doing it to myself. So it's just basically me looking at some of the things that I say to other people and following it, because that's one of the hardest things for us human beings. We can give the best advice. That don't mean we're gonna follow it ourselves.
I like that you're on that track. I like that you're on that track, Aquarian, because it is hard sometimes to take your own advice, but um, especially to us that are in the gift of giving, and giving of ourselves. It's like, oh, we wait for someone to come along and pour into us. One of
Mhm.
the reasons why I really started this show, because there was a time that I was just like, where are the people to pour into me?
Mm.
Because I was going out of my way to support everybody's everything. I'm like, where are my people? And I think it was probably in a brainstorming session, um, hanging out with Aquarian, where I came up where with Divine Living is a personal growth and wellness show designed to help you and me be well
Mm. I love
you
that.
know uh, so I had to really do the work to pour into myself, to know that I mean just as much as what everybody else means to them. I should mean just as much to me. So I want to, while going into that area, I want to talk about the challenges that men sometimes face when it comes to wellness. This is Men's Wellness Month. So, of course, we're talking about you all. What do you think the biggest wellness challenge is that men face today?
I think for me, one of the biggest challenges that men overall face is being understood. Um, I feel like that a lot of times we're seen in the role of provide and protect, but I don't think that many people understand that we need to be provided for and protected as well. And when I say that, I don't say it in a small minded kind of fashion of like financially kind of, you know what I'm saying, like our physically kind of situation. Um, we are human beings. Men, like I just said, doubt is one of the most dangerous drugs, and men suffer from it too. Like we're addicted to it as well. Like we doubt ourselves, we doubt our ability, especially when we fail. Like right, like when you fail as a man, it doesn't just come. It doesn't just affect you in the sense of how other people look at you, but how you look at yourself.
Mm.
Hmm.
Like right, like you even said at the beginning, you gave that quote about how the biggest measure of end of it? Because I forgot off
You,
top. But
you cut out. You cut out.
I'm sorry. What part did you hear?
The quote, I'll read it again. The strength of a man isn't measured by how much he can carry, but how
Mhm.
much he can lift others.
Absolutely. How much you can lift others, right? It what I was just saying earlier about myself and the place that I am right now, right? How can you lift others up when you are in places of doubt and people don't notice, right?
Mm,
A lot of men's suffering goes completely unnoticed, right? Like our attitudes that we have are seen as like more being angry, and some of us we're just internally fighting ourselves. We're
mm,
internally damaged, we're internally hurt. And I feel like that a lot of times people in general, whether it's men or women, don't look at us in that fashion. I think us just simply being human is something that needs to be understood about men. We we suffer from trauma. We've suffered from mental illness. We've suffered from hurt. We suffer from pain, from bad relationships, from manipulators as well, right? And sometimes I feel like that we don't know how to express that or how to get that out. And so all you see is me being angry. You see the reaction of the trauma that I don't probably even know how to express. I don't probably don't even know where to start, right? Because most of us we were never told to go get mental health. Like mental health wasn't a thing. As a man, cut that crying out. That's how we got treated. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it was. Oh, you start crying, you get punched, like, right? And people forget that we were raised like that in a lot of different ways. And so now as we're older and we don't know how to process our emotions, we've been through hurt, we've been through pain, we're seen as hyper masculine. Don't
mm,
get me wrong, don't get it mixed up with those actual hyper masculine wannabe alpha at type of people, right? Like that's why I always say, like, when I have these conversations, people, I always say, like, let's get away from the overgeneralizing of people, because just like there are, I'm going to I felt like myself going into a rant, so let me slow down, pause, and let me say this so I can let pass it over to brother Visionary so he can go ahead and do this part. I feel like there's a lot of things that men go through that we need to really put on the table and really need to understand that things need to change in order to put us back in a good space. Don't leave now like I was doing.
You were throwing him the ball, right?
Wait, he's
Um,
coming back.
can I ask a question while he's coming back? Because I think you said
Definitely.
something that was super great. That was really interesting. I would like to know. I hear what you're saying, and and I have three boys of myself, and so who will be young men and wanting to know how you can help them address some of those things that you were saying. And I wanted to know, maybe later for the conversation, and Visionary can just come in right now. How do we get men? How can men embrace some of the tenets of Men's International Day? Because it seems like with an embracing of that, perhaps there could be an outlet for some of the frustrations that are felt. So that's just the question that came to mind. But Visionary is here. I'll put a pin in that question for later.
Um, so this particular question was the challenges that men face in wellness. Um,
Um, like I was saying earlier, the story that I was starting to tell about a year and a half ago, ended up in the hospital. I was working too much nonstop, literally not taking days off. I still do so often now, but I'm working on it still. But I ended up in the hospital, didn't know what was going on. I went to the hospital, and of course, he told me I need to sit down. I'm doing too much. Like, I gotta sleep. I gotta sleep more than 4 hours at a time. Like you can't, especially since I drive for work. So it got bad. I've fallen asleep driving in the
Mm,
middle of the night, swerved all the way across the road, and my charger is gone now. I'm okay
mm,
though. So I learned the lesson from that. I definitely pull over now. So, but there's that. I learned to sit down from working so much. I don't have to work myself to death. And then, of course, I had to, like Aquarian was just saying, I had to learn that it's okay to feel. It's okay to, you're not soft for having feelings and expressing yourself.
Yeah.
Coco yells at me about that a lot because I'm constantly saying that's very soft. Like we not doing
Oh,
that. She's like, it's
Mm,
okay. It's okay, visionary.
oh.
mm.
So yeah, I definitely am working on a lot as far as um expressing my emotions, understanding my own emotions, so I can better help other people.
Oh, I like that. In the comments, Elle says, men deserve softness too.
Mm.
And then see, it's it's
Agree.
hard for me to it's hard for me to get that, but it's absolutely true. She read a poem yesterday in one of her streams, and and it was regarding men and softness, masculinity and softness being uh basically coexisting together, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Billy
Yeah.
tripping. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. It took years for me to get to where I am right now, as far as like how soft be like, oh, you're so soft and gentle with us. Like if you come around me like 16, 17 years ago, it was like I was so rough. Like I was so rough. It was crazy.
Mm.
man,
It takes a while for us to get out of the mentality that we've been put into and actually be like, oh, my feelings.
yeah,
Mhm.
nah.
Mhm.
Especially growing up angry. I think my pops raised me angry, so I grew up angry. So it was a lot. It was
That's
a lot of
interesting.
trauma. A lot of
Not
trauma.
interesting because of just the trauma, but um, I've been listening to a podcast talking about women and the effects of their mothers. But sometimes we don't look at the effects of men and their fathers, which would be an interesting topic to expand expound on men and the effects of their fathers. But I
Can
like
I
the question that Nikki was going to. Go ahead, Nikki.
can I just add it's interesting listening to the conversations that are happening here, but then also just on a larger scale in on social media mostly, right? And I think that we're in a moment, I could be wrong, but just as an
Hmm.
observation, we're in a moment that may parallel the women's rights movement. In a
Mm,
way, women fought for independence and autonomy from restrictive traditional feminine female roles. And I think that perhaps men may be coming to terms with restrictive masculine roles,
ah,
and kind of wanting to break away from that. Like if we look at it that way, right? Like there's no history does not repeat itself; it rhymes. And I
hmm,
think that that is kind of like that rhyme that we see there is that, while we found that traditional roles were restrictive for us and fought against that social, political, economic, I think that maybe men perhaps are finding that those same roles, traditional masculine roles, are also restrictive and wanting to come out of this. Because I'm thinking about the 8 dimensions of wellness. And I remember
hmm.
that on one episode, Divine, they're not gendered, but sometimes we tend to fall on one side or the other based on gender. And
Hmm.
in this episode in particular, the the parts of wellness that they are talking about are don't fall on that masculine line.
That's right.
And so
That's
I
right.
thought that that was really interesting on the observation
Yeah.
of like what they need to be well.
Right. Right. So, Divine Living, this show is based off of the 8 dimensions of wellness, and I'll run it down to you in sections of what normally is thought of men wellness versus women wellness. So, the ones typically for women are social, spiritual, emotional, and environmental. The two S's, the two E's. are what is usually considered women wellness ideas or topics. And then when it comes to men, um, the focus was more on intellectual, financial, occupational, and what's the other one?
Physical.
Physical.
Yeah.
Physical. That's the other dimension of wellness. But like what Nikki was saying on this particular episode, we got to talking, and it was men talking, and they were like social, social, emotional, social, and I'm like, thank you for
Yeah.
seeing us, hopefully, because typically these are the things that we deal with. So back to your last question. I if people don't know where you are, you've tapped into Divine Living. This is a personal growth and wellness show, and this we are highlighting men's wellness and International Men's Day. International Men's Day is the 19th of November. But I just wanted to kind of spotlight, highlight some cool people that are important to me, part of my garden keepers. But Nikki, you asked a really good question. Could you
Yeah.
reinstate that question?
So, Men's International Day, it seeks to one, promote positive male role models, celebrate men's contributions to society, focus on their well-being, and improve gender relations. So, I wanted to know do you think that, it would be worthwhile or beneficial for men to kind of engage in those tenets to help kind of support some of the challenges that you guys feel. Um, Again, like thinking about the women, I'm not trying to parallel it, but thinking about women's rights movement and how women have managed to form these kind of communities around certain tenets for each other's social or emotional well-being, even for their financial well-being. I'm not sure if you guys see that there are those type of things for yourself, centered around masculinity or the idea of being a man, or at least the commonhood behind being a man. Do you think it would be beneficial, or could you, like, is that needed basically? Is there something like that needed? Do you need to rally around tenants like that? Do you need, think about like Million Man March? Not that exactly, but do you need more community with one another?
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. I definitely believe we do. You said it yourself in the fact that there's a women's rights movement. There ain't no men's rights movement. There ain't there ain't no men's wellness movements, no men's we don't do that because it's considered soft. It's
Mm,
considered it's considered so we don't come together
mm,
like we should. Because
mm,
I believe coming together would help more than just our mental wellness and health. It would help the way a lot of men go about treating women.
mm,
There's not enough we don't meet, so the problems that men do have don't get addressed, whether it be our mental health or just basic knowledge of what a man is supposed to be and be an example of. So
mm,
it's the community is it's needed on a huge level, and then there's the youth that are being just our young men in general. They're being led by their mothers mostly, and we know you need a male role model, whether it be your father or some sort of male model in your life to really understand and know how to do things, how a man should do things.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, there's I feel like there's what do you call it? The special cases for some men, you know, some women do a great job raising young men and all of that, but there's a lot of them They don't know what they're doing out here. They lost.
Mm,
Mm.
I feel like um, it is definitely important for a community to be there. However, a community full of ego will do nothing but make the situation worse. Um, I feel like that one of the main things that has to be established is, so let's think about it, right? You're talking about women's movement, right? The women's movement was for the right to be considered human.
Mhm.
Men have are still not seen as completely human. We're like robots, like, right? And a lot of times, the way that people refer to us, the way that they talk about us, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're emotional shells, like, right? A lot of times we're emotionally divulged as people think of us, right? But we're not. We are human beings, like, right? We cry, but we cry in silence away from y'all because we don't want you to think that we're soft, right? Like, a lot of men have suffered from domestic violence, but it's never talked about, and you'll never hear us admit it most of the time because of the fact that it's thought of as soft to allow a woman to hit on us. Like, right? Like, even though I'm letting you hit me because I'm in love with you and I don't want to hit you back, but I don't want to leave you either because I love you. So I'm stuck in this cycle of just allowing you to put your hands on me and just being quiet, because if I even think to place a hand on you, then I'm immediately going to jail, right? Like, it is a vicious cycle in this world that men are stuck into, right? Because we're men. Like, we're seen as being, oh, you're the man. As always, the answer. But you're a man. Just be a man. But you're a man. Be a man.
Mhm.
Why aren't you being a man? Like, right? Always, always, always. I'm a human being. First and foremost. All of us are. First and foremost. Before we have genitalia, before we have anything else, or we have these sort of roles and things like that, we are human beings. We cry, we bleed the same. Like, there's no difference between a blood and a man and a woman. If you cut my wrist, you cut your wrist, we're gonna bleed the exact same. Like, right? However, there's this idea of just marginalizing men into a box, into one area, and don't you dare get up out that area. Like, right? Don't you come over here talking about your feelings and stuff like that, because most people don't want to hear it. Men or women don't want to hear it. I would never sit here and specify it's just one side that doesn't want to hear it. Like, most of the time, I can't go to one of my homies and be like, "Yo, blah blah blah." But there are some that I can that understand because they're making the same transition that I'm making, right? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But generally speaking, you can't go to a woman with your emotions most of the time because most of the time she's not going to listen. She wants to hear them. She tells you she wants to hear, and then she doesn't listen. The men don't want to hear. They go, bro, that's soft, bro. I don't want to hear all of that. You feel me? Like, I can't sit here and go and cry in one of my homies. You feel me? Like, I started telling, like, bro, what is you doing? Like, why is you crying? You feel me?
Literally.
Like, that's the way. That's the way that a lot of us live. That's the way that a lot of our realities are. And I think that when y'all say that softness is something that men need, it absolutely is. We just need understanding. Like, right, the same way that our counterparts want understanding. We just want to be seen as human being, and we want our feelings to be seen as valid, whether you agree with them or not. Like,
So,
right?
so do you think that a community, like again, like would that help with that? Because
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying, but if
Yeah.
who are you saying it to then? If there's no community that's going to help do that, like, do
right.
you think that a community would help do that?
Right, I was doubling back. I was saying that what I was going to double back to is to say that the community would not be beneficial if it's only full of men. Like, right, because we need the community itself as a whole to actually solve the problem that we're all having, all our individual problems, all of our main problems, right? Like,
Hmm.
because right now, currently in the male community, there's too many egos.
So you don't think that a all male coalition, or you don't think like in, you know how people say like work in your kitchen first?
I mean, it sounds good, right?
Yeah,
But
that's
currently
so
speaking,
interesting.
currently the way that the world is, the influence of social media has made things way different than if we were back in the 60s. If we were back in the 60s, we had plenty of coalitions of men,
Mm,
and they were shut down by rumors and things of that nature. Like, what will happen now? Like,
mm,
right? Like, if we sit here and we think about, you get a coalition of young men that are being mentored by grown men and being taught the right way, All somebody has to do is spread one rumor, and then it'll just spread like wildfire about that coalition. And next thing you know, it's gone. Like, right? It's too easy to take down positive things with negative words these days.
What about
Well,
small minority?
I counter that with if if the gang members out here can have community
That's a fact.
Mm.
doing what they doing, there
Mm.
ain't no way you can't tell me we can't have a community of a positive note.
No, absolutely.
Mm.
But the gang members, their culture,
So,
way of thinking is falls in line with the system. The system doesn't really want black men to actually come into themselves in a positive manner, like, right? Like, you're doing the dirty work for the system, so therefore you're allowed to stay doing what you're doing. But you get the opposite side, and you get black men that are teaching black men to be lawyers, to be doctors, to be teachers, to be these things that are going to have a more positive effect. The next thing you know, here come the rumors. Here come the ideas. Oh, they're doing something. Oh, this person has a past, and then you want to bring up my past. And most of the black men that are around our age, we have some sort of past in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Nobody talks about it now, but as soon as you start being a agent for change,
Mm.
that's when it becomes a problem.
Mm.
Oh, I want to keep going, y'all. I want to keep going. We are coming upon the top of the hour, and the feature will be over really soon. Um, my thing, I love to um, do this month to hear the perspectives of men, because it's not always there's it's not always a platform, not always a platform for these conversations. um and we've just touched the surface of it. We have a couple more weeks left in this month. I'm going to do something pretty different next week, in Friendsgiving. But so I'll need the support of a lot of different men and women for Friendsgiving. If you would like to be on our Friendsgiving show,
I
hit
was
me
here
up
last
on.
week for Friendsgiving. Yay!
You
It's
were.
already that's crazy. It's already back around. Wow.
Right, right. Make sure you hit me up. I have a couple of quotes, three quotes actually, that I'm going to throw out to you all. Um, Tell me if any resonate with you, which one does, and then just hit us with your outros. All right.
Mhm.
Um, the first one is Nikki. Do you see them? Do you have them too? Maybe not. It's
No,
okay.
I
I'll
don't have.
Okay, no problem. A great man is hard on himself. A small man is hard on others.
Mm.
Manhood is the defeat of childhood narcissism. And the last quote is, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment.
That's basically encompassing what I was saying.
Hmm.
Being in a world where someone wants you to be something else. Read that second one again, please, because that one just caught me.
That called me
Right?
too.
Right? Manhood is the defeat of childhood narcissism.
Mm.
Mm, mm. We definitely have a lot of narcissists around us in one way or another when we're kids.
Mm.
Hmm.
The idea of being a boy, like I said, it strips you of being human sometimes. Like,
Hmm.
you're not allowed to cry, you're not allowed to whine, you're not allowed to complain, you're not allowed to say, "Oh, this hurts." Shut
Mm.
up. Be a man.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one. You got to send me that one.
I will. Visionary. Anyone that resonate with you?
I like the last one. I
Hmm.
love the last one. Like it, it resonates so well because I don't live life how they in a box how they say you should. in society and the social media norms and what we supposed to and not supposed to. I just live life. I don't, without the judgment, without the, I don't judge people. I'm for people. So freedom of expression of self, whoever you are, that's who you are, bro. Live life,
Mm,
I like that.
live life.
I like that.
mm.
Thank you both. Thank you both for being a part of Divine Living today. Thank you for being part of Divine Living every day. um, I appreciate your support, and I challenge myself um, each November to be more of the support to men. I know we may cry on your shoulders often, but I really want to be that sounding board for you too. Um, so know that even in outside of the month of November, that we are here. We are here. Not just me, but even when we don't agree in everyday conversations,
Mhm,
we still are here.
mm.
We are here. Um, thank you. As always, I want to leave you with our words. Um, and hopefully these words mean a little something today. I think that each episode it means just a little different, even with the same words coming out of my mouth. Our words. Without words, the speech cannot be heard. Without a voice, there's nothing to be said. Without sound, it's only left to be seen. And without them all, we're just beings without being a thing. Use your voice, use your words to be the light of change. Thank
Mhm.
you for this episode of divine living, and make sure that you do something for the men in your life. Again, it's Men's Wellness, and no, and the 19th is International Men's Day. Thank you, guys.
Yay.
Yay!
Hold on, can I say something for a site that I would like for you guys to go? You may have seen this already. On September 6th, there's something called Love You Bro in Australia. Samoans and indigenous people in maybe New Zealand started this program that essentially tries to eradicate like domestic violence, intergenerational trauma, and then also just really focusing on redefining masculinity, what it means since it's had to kind of grow out of that. And they all do this thing where they call someone, another man in their life, just to say I love you. And they recorded it, and it's so powerful and so moving. And so if I'm just saying, I encourage you guys to, the site is called sheisnotyourrehab.com. Sheisnotyourrehab.com, or you can just Google Love You Bro, Australia, and it will come up. It's really, interesting if you have a special man in your life, friend, calling them just to say, I love you, hits different according to the videos and what the men are saying online. There's also a Reddit for it. Um, it hits different coming from men, and having that support from another man is very different than me calling and being like, I love you, keep it up,
Mm-hmm.
keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find it very interesting. Again, it's sheisnotyourrehab.com. It's a husband and wife team, I believe. But the husband is the one that created this. They got artwork, they got all kinds of things, and it's the Love You Bro movement. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. I love that. Thanks, Nikki. Um,
Hmm.
I hope